This is part 3 of a 4-part series about Sonic the Hedgehog. Seriously, go watch part 1 and 2.
Hello! How are you holding up? Need any refreshments? Water? Coffee? Just kidding! There is no coffee! Alright, move on from the boring pre-production crap and get to the juicy, controversial gaming opinions.
Well, spoiler alert, I don't have any. I like this game. If anything, that alone feels controversial. The fandom's anything to go by.
But what about the spin dash?
I literally just explained that there isn't a spin dash in Sonic 1. Is anyone listening to me?
Nuh-uh, you could spin dash in Sonic 1.
What did you play it on?
My Game Boy.
That explains a lot. Yes, there are versions of the Sonic the Hedgehog that have retroactively added the spin dash back in, but we're mostly talking about the original game, so using it feels, more superfluous than other games.
Why do you have to go on a long rant in the skits after you went on a long rant in the video? Can you relax for like 6 seconds?
Neil, I'm autistic. I can't turn it off.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. How long have you known?
You're being mean again, aren't you?
Yeah, no, I'm just being a dick.
Tick-tock, Blue! You gotta say something that our no-doubt ravenous audience can sink their teeth into.
What's there to say? Sonic is too blurple looking? He kinda is.
Okay, I sent you to cyberspace so you could make me money. With opinions as passive as that, you'd be lucky to be making a nickel on the streets. So cough up something I could use, or else I'll kill Neil.
All right.
I'll kill Rudy.
No, he's the only one I can tolerate.
Yeah, and I'll kill him with the Eggman wrecking ball thing from the first level in the game.
All right, fine. You've twisted my hand. I think that Sonic 1 is better than Sonic 2.
See, Blue Jenna, fuck. That's all he had to say. Now let's watch the death threats roll in together, shall we?
All right, fine. Whatever gets views.
Blue, that's so noble. I mean, you even called Munch's bluff to spare Neil.
What? Oh, yeah. That's sure what I did strategically.
Welcome to Gameplay Getaway.
Dude, this place is iconic. Gee, obvious statements are obvious. What kind of observation is that? Well, sometimes what is obvious to one person can be completely dismissed by others. We all know Green Hill or its whole vibe has shown up a touch too much. It's really easy to do the whole Green Hill is overrated statement and get people to follow that line of thought, I know personally my parents took me to the exact same couple of provincial parks for over a decade. It was fine the first couple of times. You go there, you do your stupid camp stuff for 2 to 3 weeks, and when you get back, you have some mildly interesting stories to tell your incredibly bored friends about. But when you've gone to the exact same stupid park for 10 years in a row instead of doing literally anything else, it's hard to enjoy it. Heaven forbid we go to Disneyland, or go see someone, or do something. No, of course not. My only piece of entertainment were whatever games I had stashed in my backpack. That included Game of the Year contender Sonic Genesis. Don't you think that's a problem? When someone has willingly beat Sonic Genesis more than once? Have you played Sonic Genesis? And then I'd hear it every single day. Oh, you're so quiet, Jarrett. And I'd be like, yeah, I don't want to be here. What was I doing? Oh yeah, well, camping I'm sure can be fun. I just don't think I'm going to be up to it before my 4th divorce. That one's going to be quite nasty. Listen, I more than anyone can understand why people can be sick of Old Green Hill. We've been back here way too many times, but I also can't bring myself to hate this place either, That loop-de-loop. We all remember our first time building up the speed needed to make it across, right? Being shot out this slide and launched into this group of rings. It just tickles the right part of your brain. You know, the one that makes you happy? That's the basic stuff though. How about the first time you figured out you could spin through this wall? Or this one? It's not even the fastest way through Act 3 here, as the speed shoes monitor can bring you to the end in no time flat. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy exploring the stage and using Sonic's natural abilities to get the secrets. And I know exactly why my brain does that. You ever play a video game and have a friend go, "Wow, how did you know about that?" Yeah, he might get better grades, go on more dates, make $1 billion, or cure cancer. But you know what? I knew I could roll through this wall in Sonic the Hedgehog. And for that moment, that single moment in time, I'm the cool one. You know what? I don't remember anyone ever talking about some things in this stage either, like the spiked log bridge. It's possible and easy even to completely bypass the section with it, so to a degree I get it. Or how about the section in Act 2 with the platforms over the bed of spikes? Ironically, it's not even the spikes that are the danger here, it's just way too easy to fall into those pits. And did you know the waterfalls make sounds? I sure didn't until I made the mistake of trying to test my recording equipment and couldn't understand why the sound was messing up. That was a frustrating day, I'll tell you that. You may think I'm stupid, and I am, no doubt about that, but it just shows you the love and care that was taken to make this not just another starting stage, but a place that felt real to a lot of us kids. I haven't even mentioned the Badniks yet. Man, I think while there's many things that got my attention about Sonic, the robot enemies, the Badniks, always got my attention. Sure, Mario had turtles and mushrooms, but there was this goober, or this friend, or how about this fella? You know that thing on social media where people will call tigers danger kitties? Because they're just so cute, even though you know they're dangerous? I mean, how can you hate this friend? Sure, you gotta destroy it, save the animals, all that nonsense. But can we also talk about how they just decided to reuse one of them from some old arcade game? Most of us know that Flicky had its own game before this, but I also never hear people talk about why they did that. I'm guessing Flicky was just kind of this blue bird that everybody at Sega liked. Anyways, we get on to, Rudy?
What is it?
Why are you looking at me like that?
I'm not, looking at you like anything.
Well, okay. Anyway, we move on to...
I just think you're undervaluing the importance that these beautiful machines bring to the Sonic series. And frankly, that really peeves me.
Well, you want to add something to this segment?
Gladly. They say a hero is only as strong as his enemies, right? I don't know what it does say about Sonic that most of these mooks go down in one hit, but here's what it, by which I mean I, say about them. Golly gee, if they aren't the cutest little robot soldiers that I've ever seen. Huge eyes, lots of personality for all of them. Let's take a closer look. Motobugs, or Goombas, the default goons. Cool little ladybug fellas. They don't really do anything aside from moving around, but I think that adds to their charm. We love failed boys here. Buzz Bombers, another iconic model. The Stinger being a laser gun is a stroke of genius. Truth be told, I kind of hate them in Spring Yard, because they're placed in the elevator section where it's hard to avoid them. Chopper, the angriest fish you'll ever see. He does nothing but jump out of waterfalls and try to leave a bear trap size hickey on you. His movement patterns and design really emphasize how simple yet effective Sonic 1's Badniks are. Crab Meat shuffles back and forth and shoots little lasers out of his claws. Like the Buzz Bombers, hiding blasters in their claws is great form and function integration. Plus these guys are super derpy. They're like pugs. Neutrons! Hey, look at that! Ninja Chameleons years before we had a proper Ninja Chameleon. After they appear from nothing, the Pepsi flavor ones will turn into rockets and try to hit you. Yes! While the LaCroix ones just shoot a laser at you. Lame.
The ball and chain boss. The egg wrecker, I guess it's called. I don't know, I think everybody just called it the wrecking ball. You can probably infer that Eggman has some backwards thoughts about marriage. Remember that episode in AOSTH? Dude's definitely about that bachelor life. But getting back on topic, this is just another thing that made me really feel like I was accomplishing something. Just knowing how to approach this boss, hit it without getting hit myself. that sort of thing. That's an appeal of a lot of games. It's not specific to Sonic. So why is it special? A lot of it is just frankly that with a lot of games, sure, you can do really good and beat it quicker, but Sonic just accentuates that by being designed around that element. It's just really satisfying in video games to me, and in a lot of ways, I think the Genesis games, the Sonic ones, I mean, do that better than any other game I've ever played. After embarrassing the round doctor, we follow him past an animal capsule. Something I always do is I try to jump on it from the right side so that Sonic just barely falls off of it with his momentum, causing this glitch to happen. There's no real reason to do this. There's also no reason for me to build Crash Bandicoot traps in my house, but I did it. Surprising no one, this leads on to the next stage as we go into you know, if Green Hill Zone is this overused, overhyped, you know what, let's just say it, Village Bicycle of the Sonic franchise, if you catch my drift, the other zones are pretty malnourished. It's like that one clip from Family Guy. I know, great source for an argument here. Just hear me out. It's John Goodman and his family sitting down for Thanksgiving, and he's just eating all the food.
Please, Daddy.
I told you, when I'm finished, you can have what's left.
There won't be any left. There's never any left.
Happy Thanksgiving!
How funny. This never happened. It's a pretty obvious fat joke that doesn't even make sense if you think about it. Didn't really matter how much food he ate, his family could eat pretty damn well. He has like $1 billion, but it's actually a good analogy for Sonic 1 zones that aren't Green Hill. You see, I had a point. Don't be so damn skeptical. It's well documented that Green Hill was reworked a lot over that year in development, but as we can see in that still new in my heart prototype, Marble and the rest of the game were way less, well, finished in general. Only a month or two before release too. Jeez, were they cutting that close? I'll save those points for beta bites. We've all heard it. It's the basic bitch YouTube essay on Sonic the Hedgehog. While it laid the groundwork for the franchise, after Green Hill, the game fell flat. It's just not as good as its sequels. Come on, man, have an original thought in your brain. But this all begins with the criticisms on the Marble Zone. Now, I kinda like this place. Sure, it goes on a little long. Those sections involving pushing a block can blow chunks, but there's a lot of fun to have here still. I remember the first time I got to the section in Act 2 where you need to do some platforming as lava fills the room behind you and you have to keep going. As a kid, that made me stress the hell out. As an adult, I know it's actually really hard to let that slow-ass lava catch you, but I didn't know that. How about later on? You know, one of those parts people always mention as being kind of shitty? The whole waiting on this block as it flows past 3 platforms where you can finally escape? If you mess up, there's a secret here, sure enough. As a kid, I figured out ducking in the Genesis version lets you pass through the blocks. That's something I always loved showing off. But now, I know better. By using Sonic's abilities, you can jump your way across and save a lot of time. And isn't this what the developers are intending with the game? Isn't that why we all keep coming back to this? And the secrets don't end there. These secret shortcuts you can find are always going to tickle some portion in my brain that finds joy in shit. It's a really easy way to make the player feel like they accomplished something, you know?
Feather Killer. Love me some segmented enemies. Super cute how he crawls along the ground. I appreciate that he requires you to either roll or jump onto his head to destroy him, but I don't like how if you hit anything else, all the other parts go flying. Bat Brain. Not too complex, these ones. Just cute little bat guys. Not much to say here. They swoop down if you bother them.
The Egg Scorcher? Man, okay, it's just a flamethrower. The names are really cute, but I want to know, are these names just Ian Flynn or someone else trying to give them names now? Or were these names tracked down from some old design document that we don't have? I'd love for it to be the former, but I'm assuming it's the latter. Anyhow, it's really quite simple. He drops fire on one side and moves to the other. You hit him and don't get hit by lava. It's weird how complex the Wrecking Ball is, only for this to be next. I guess it's much better than the 8-bit games where Eggman's 300 IQ leads him to try to run you over. And I guess the point I'm trying to make here is really simple. The stage isn't the second coming of Bubsy. I don't think anyone thinks that seriously. Okay, some poor guy who's a miserable old crank probably does. It's not as fast or as well designed as Green Hill, and it's definitely no chemical plant, but that's fine.
You do realize that without this zone, Hilltop and Marble Garden likely wouldn't exist, right?
Never mind, fuck this place. This is one of my most controversial opinions on classic Sonic in general, but you want to know something? I've always preferred this stage over the Casino Night Zone in Sonic 2. I think the main reason for that is just that Casino Night isn't really a stage most of the time, you know? Sure, you go from point A to B, there's a Badnik, Eggman's there, all that stuff. But it's mostly an excuse to see some flashy lights and get Sonic fucked over in the slots. Remember, whether you look like this or that, gambling gets you impaled by millions of spike balls. I guess what I'm getting at here is that, man, I really just love how Spring Yard uses its pinball mechanics to be an interesting stage, rather than a stage trying to be a pinball machine in Casino Night. It's not perfect, mind you. We also got moving blocks. Straight out of the Castle of Illusion, also developed by Sega and released the year prior. You're lying to yourself if you don't see the connection. In fact, I found this interesting Usenet post from somebody talking about how he felt about Sonic compared to the Castle of Illusion. Although he kept calling it Mickey Mouse, it's pretty wild finding contemporary internet opinions that are 35 years old. But the gist is, while he had a harder time getting used to Sonic, he eventually started loving the challenge and skill ceiling in the game. And dude, the man's got it. 35 years ago, and someone got it. That's a million times more interesting than just going, that thing people like? Pfft, it's overrated. Yeah, okay, I keep getting sidetracked. You know, as you approach the first spring in Act 1, it shoots you up a quarter pipe. No big deal. The second one launches you almost like an old school pinball machine as you rocket past the word cope. This has stayed in my head all of these years. Why did they add this? Most of the other things that you'll see are either gibberish or computer terms, so why cope? I guess we gotta just, well, you already know. It's a really cool set piece that doesn't take away from the platforming and just shows you what Sonic was capable of. Mega Man couldn't do that. Simon Belmont? Absolutely not. Batman? Pfft, get real. This was Sonic the Hedgehog, and only he was gonna get out of here alive. Right after the blocks, we are introduced to Roller. I know I usually let Rudy handle this, but let me just speak on this one in particular. He approaches you from behind, doing what you're doing with his role, and he'll likely pop out as if taunting you. That little son of a bitch is taunting you. And then as if nothing happened, he'll roll off screen, at which point he's nearly invincible. I don't know, he's just really memorable to me. For the most part, Sega has never really reused him outside of Sonic Mania. Is there a Roller plushie? I want one. He deserves more love even if he scares the shit out of me. Part of his animation frames get messed up, so you can sort of see Caterpillar's face in there. That's not traumatizing at all. Also, am I the only one that goes into debug mode and places as many rollers as I can and run for dear life? Is that just a weird thing I did? Something I never forget is how Act 2 just has two different goalposts, one directly above the other one. This isn't even the only time it happens, and I wish I knew what the reason was. Sure, there's some extra rings as a reward if you manage to jump on one of the higher platforms, but it's just one of those things you have to wonder if there's a higher meaning for this at one point, you know? Act 3 has the one time, at least in my memory, where they give us invincibility and speed shoes monitored next to each other. So many of these games would attempt to implement what's called an S monitor, which will grant Sonic speed shoes and invincibility. This would become the basis of Super Sonic, of course, but this is the one time in normal play we can really experience it, and man is it satisfying. Using both, it basically brings you right to the end of the stage, where you can almost completely miss the block platforms here one whole year before they became infamous in Chemical Plant.
Roller. The design alone, I think, makes this my favorite Badnik in Sonic 1. He's an armadillo that rolls around, just like you. He's like a prototype Metal Sonic. They're also super derpy, so they get extra cute points. Spikes. I'm not super fond of these guys. It's cool that you can only really break them by rolling, and I guess conceptually they're fine, but they're so average. They're motobugs without the charisma. Side note, it's very funny to me how we collectively just decided to keep using the 90s Americanized name for these guys. I mean, Bat Brain, Crab Mean, hell yeah, dude, make way for Stab Snail.
After that, we got the Egg Stinger. Listen, I can have an original observation, but the joke writes itself. It's a pain in the ass. At one point in development, I guess the spike here would have been a spring, but regardless, all we have to do is avoid him coming down so that we can jump up and hit him a few times. Before you know it, it's over. If I were Munch here, dude, I'd be pulling the collar of my colorful comedic tie here. I mean, what am I supposed to say? That Labyrinth is okay? Well, it ain't, and his story, at least to a new player. I mean, I get the thought process. It probably seemed like a good idea to give Sonic a weakness, but this whole water thing?
Oh, that's too much, man!
The slopes that were in all the past stages are all gone, leading to very blocky platforming with the worst hazard of all, water. Sonic can't swim, and all his abilities, including his trademark speed, are reduced to nothing. And if he doesn't find air in 30 seconds, he drowns. That's not traumatizing for a child, right? Seeing your cute little mascot character suffocate and die, all because you weren't fast enough. Good luck sleeping tomorrow, Billy, you sadistic piece of shit. That being said, acting like this is a satanic hellhole of Sonic levels is a bit dramatic. It's rough on a new player, sure enough, but it's really not that bad for someone who knows what they're doing. I realize that the implication there is that you can get good at it, so that immediately undermines its design flaws. But that's not what I'm trying to say at all. I mean, I learned to beat this stage effectively on the GBA version as a kid. That should get me some sort of reward at some point, but it's still not a bad platformer stage. Just a bad Sonic stage. It's hard, but I'd still take this one mediocre Sonic stage over Metropolis Zone, Sandopolis, probably more. Still, there's a few things that do stick out to me, like this stupidly obscure shortcut that skips over most of Act 1. I remember finding this out on YouTube and being convinced someone was lying to me. You hit the switch, then painstakingly take the only way back up to ride this platform to get to the end. I mean, who the hell figured that one out? Or the endless waterfall of Act 3. I mean, that one's not a 2 obtuse, but I sure wish I remember how annoyed I was the first time dealing with that. This zone's also a really easy way to tell which version of Sonic 1 you're playing. See, in the original North American and PAL versions, you kind of just get this boring background underwater. No bells and whistles, but because the Japanese releases held back just that little bit longer, they added a parallax effect to the backdrop while you're underwater. Also, there's clouds that move in Green Hill and Marble Scroll, but it's the most obvious here.
Burrobot. I love mecha, so I love drills. And these mole guys are adorable. They have little hats and tank treads and they hop from underground and I kinda want a plushie of them. Your call, Sega. Jaws. The water equivalent of motobugs, basically. Or, if you prefer, horizontal choppers. Either way, those guys aren't at all a threat. Orbinaut. So, there are two versions of these guys. One is here in Labyrinth Zone, being also called Unidus in Japan. The other one is in Starlight Zone, Uni Uni. Focusing on this red and blue variant, encountering them really makes me miss the insta-shield because I don't like waiting for them to chuck all their spiky balls at me for me to hit them. A bit annoying.
This boss doesn't have a name, but it might as well be Eggman runs away like a little bitch because that's what's going on here. So, really, the boss is just playing more Labyrinth Zone, and I mean, fair play developers, like that's got to be some kind of meta commentary on how this stage blows, but I doubt it was intentional. You can actually land 8 hits on the man-egg himself here, destroy his mech, but doing that is sort of a death wish? I mean, what's your reward for doing that? Some points? Who cares about that? If you die here, there's no rings, just one shield. So I'm gonna play the rational human being here and say it ain't worth it. Just play it smart and get to the end. No reason to risk it all when the game doesn't do anything to incentivize you to do it. And you know what? The good thing is that when we're done here, we never have to come back here. It is completely out of the way for the rest of the game. Just for the record, this gets my award for the most underrated zone in Sonic history. It's weird, you know, because if you think about it, the city levels in the Sonic games are usually the most beloved in the series. Stardust Speedway, Speed Highway, City Escape, Rooftop Run. Why do you think they all showed up in Generations? But nobody talks about this one. This place is like somebody built a freaking F-Zero course on South Island. Can you imagine Sonic in an F-Zero game? Making Captain Falcon cry home to mom as Sonic just runs Mute City 3 backwards and calls him a bitch? That's the crossover we need. My whole thing is this. All those loops and curves we love so much, it's all back. As a straight dude and a Sonic autist, you know I'm all about those curves. The amount of speed you can get here is insane, and yet it's still pretty dangerous. Can we talk about how there's just fans here moving faster than the speed of sound? Sonic literally can't run past them when they're spinning, and it's probably a good thing since it would be blended into a delicious blue smoothie at the rate they're going. Or how about the fact that Eggman just decided to start using bombs? Like, this isn't just a cute, I don't know, chicken and egg robot that explodes and Sonic comes nearby it, even if that would be kind of morbid. Okay, actually it's a good thing these are just straight up bombs. I really don't want to imagine the poor Flicky trapped in its own tomb, waiting for the sweet relief of death, especially since these are littered all over the place and really hard to avoid places. I just want to know why people barely acknowledge the zone's existence. Is it because nobody gets past Labyrinth? If that's the case, that's pretty sad, dude. Admittedly, it's a pretty short stage, but so is Green Hill when you think about it. I remember getting here my first time and being in awe of what I was hearing and what I was seeing. It almost made Labyrinth worth it. Those seesaws are put to some great use here. Also, I just love that there's some really cool secrets. Again, using Sonic's roll ability to locate them. Like right away here in Act 1. The series should do more with that, but this sort of level design is almost non-existent in the sequels.
Bomb. Man, fuck these guys. They just explode and you can do anything to them. That said, I do kinda dig the helmeted look. It's cute. I am glad they had the foresight not to put eyes on them, because then seeing them blow up would have been awful. Orbinaut, again, this is the Uni Uni variant I mentioned earlier, which is green and yellow. These are even worse because you can defeat them without getting hurt. Phooey, I say.
Boss fight here is pretty neat too, since, get this, we use a mechanic from the stage to actually beat him. I'm sorry, what? That's a new freaking concept. Eggman drops bombs on the seesaws, and Sonic sees two ass-kicking opportunities manifest themselves as cartoonish antics. Either he launches the bomb or himself. It's the only time in the game where the physics system is used cleverly in a boss fight. The boss lets you, the player, have some choice in how you approach it, and I think that's pretty cool. Eggman leaves, and we sit here wondering how he got that 300 IQ. Really, if he just did this anywhere without the seesaws, he'd be near invincible, but I digress. Well, if Eggman was actually smart, I guess we couldn't beat the game, so I'm happy with this. Alright, last zone alert. Are you ready? Before I even start, I need to address something. I love secrets in classic Sonic games. I think it's really cool when there's a path that separates the normies from the autistics. You can always tell who's a poser when you see them actually play through Marble Zone. Like, yeah, dude, I don't have a life, or anyone who loves me, but I know how to skip Labyrinth Zone Act 1, so who really wasted their life? Yeah, that's what I thought. But okay, I want to know, who is the mad genius behind Act 2's secret? So if you go down this very specific path that you're seeing on screen, and you get to this teleporter with 50 rings, a task that, remind you, is nearly impossible, both with the lack of rings and the fact that it's Scrap Rain Zone, you'll eventually be taken to a way easier path in the stage. Frankly, I just want to know how many people even know about this, and I also want to know why it's even here. If you can consistently get here with 50 rings, I don't think you need this. It's just kind of baffling, but I'm jumping the gun. I haven't even talked about the stage, and here I am complaining about a stupidly obscure secret. Let's get to it. Okay, so Act 1's a final zone in the Sonic the Hedgehog game, alright? Fire, buzzsaws, crushers, this conveyor belt that stresses me the hell out. It's going to take a lot of rings to get out of here alive your first time, and even on your 1000th run, it's not going to be a cakewalk. The main thing I always remember about Act 1 specifically is the easy way to clip yourself into the wall. This is the main way I know how to do the zip trick. You know, where Sonic is stuck inside a wall and the game tries to force you out by moving you a distance left or right. It's really easy to get yourself stuck doing this, but it's a cool party trick nevertheless. Act 2's mainly indoors as opposed to the outdoors in Act 1. This mid-zone transitional stuff isn't something they bothered doing anywhere else in the game, so I have to wonder why they did it here. I already mentioned the shortcut, but I find this stage to weirdly be easier than Act 1. As we come face to face with another oddity in Sonic 1, a transitional cutscene. Instead of fading out to start Act 3, we're sent directly into a trap by Eggman and dropped into more. They had to have known, right? There's absolutely no reason you design a stage so hated, so cruel, so memed on like Labyrinth Zone is, and then you bring it back at the end of the game. I'm sure this made somebody cry. I'm sure somebody's day was ruined by this. It had to have, man. Can you imagine being this close after struggling with that water stage, only to be dropped in here and lose the last of your lives? That ruined some kid's life. That is some supervillain origin story shit, dude. In all reality, though, it's not that bad with this shortcut that everyone knows. Did you know there's actually supposed to be a platform across here? It's pointless, you can easily jump across. But why don't you see it? Because it's actually loaded when you enter the stage and despawn when you travel too far left or too far right. The only way to see it is through debug mode. I don't know either, man. Anyways, you take this spring into the final zone. And look, it's a boss fight. It barely counts as the level, and it looks exactly like Scrap Raid. So it's not a zone, dude. How about I kill you, man? Showing up to my video, trying to be the smart guy in the room, huh? You'll get so much ass if you prove me wrong, huh? Well, how about I just kill you? Then you won't get anything, because you'll just be dead, because I killed you.
Ballhog. This round boy will attempt to snipe you with his rolling balls of doom. I'd be madder if he weren't just so gosh darn adorable. Look at him. I'm telling you, he's gonna be big this year. Invest your stocks into Ballhog coin and give me all of your money.
I just got done with my 4th act of Labyrinth Zone. Don't ask me if I'm okay. It's Act 4, but even that's pushing it. Just like what this boss wants to do. It wants to push you right into the ground. Slam, bam, fuck your man. But it's not hard. In fact, it's almost too easy. Sure, they don't give you rings, but come on. Rinse and repeat, and as long as you have a pulse, you can beat this stage. Just stand in the center, watch the pistons, get as many hits as you can safely, and watch those electrical balls. 8 hits and congratulations. You've contracted a serious case of autism. Get ready for the hellhole of a franchise you subscribe to. Well, actually, be careful. It's possible to hit him a 9th time, and his hit counter will get reset back to 255. And that's impossible with the time limit, so don't do that. After all is said and done, though, we kick Eggman's ass one last time, and Sonic runs back into Green Hill Zone with prototype pink flowers. Funny how those are here. And either Sonic looks pissed off at you if you don't have the emeralds, or does this to the ecosystem. That can't be good. Yeah, so those emeralds you've been collecting don't actually do a whole heck of anything, but you might as well get them. They're good for extra lives and stuff. And that's Sonic the Hedgehog. We'll take a short break and go on to Beta Bytes.